Now, I'd like to have Matt Gaines come to the stage. Matt is an attorney with Marcus Rico and Warren Brooks, and he is going to announce our Legislator of the Year.
Thank you, Dave. It's my privilege and honor tonight to introduce Senator Brian Joyce as the first ever recipient of the IREM Legislator of the Year award. I've known Brian now for almost 15 years. He actually gave me my first job out of college. And while obviously he initially started off as my boss, he quickly became my mentor. And today, obviously, I consider him to be one of my closest friends. It's been about 6 years now since I left Brian's office and work at Marcus Rico, but I still talk to Brian on a regular basis, whether it be about legislation for affecting condominiums or apartments in the housing industry, or just to talk about our family and our lives. It is incredible to consider him such a close personal friend and a mentor. I've learned a lot from Brian over the years. Just watching him in action, I mean, he is truly dedicated to the cause up at the State House. There's a lot that goes into what they do up there, and his ability to juggle that, not to mention the fact that he, along with his wife Mary, who's here tonight, have 5 children, and not to mention the fact that Brian also in his spare time happens to run a law firm. So it's really been quite an inspiration to watch him do all that. And just when it comes to housing and the real estate industry overall, you guys have no idea what it's like to have Brian up there working for you. He is truly an advocate. He truly gets the issues that matter to you. And I can rest assured that there have been many bills over the years, whether he's worked for their passage or tried to stop them, that have directly impacted every one of you in this room. There's probably anywhere from 50 to 75 bills that get filed every single legislative session that deal with condominiums and apartment buildings. It's guys like Warren Lizio, your legislative chair here at IREM, and myself. I work for a legislative committee for CAI that monitor those bills, track them, and try to figure out, we have to find them and figure out how they're going to impact the industry. And when we have someone like Brian, we can just pick up the phone and say, hey Brian, this is a bad bill, this is a good bill. You have no idea how effective that can be. And he's truly been a friend of the industry, and it's really my privilege tonight to welcome Brian to the stage and present to him the Legislator of the Year award.
Clarify a couple things. Matt tried to lay it on pretty thick because when Kristen Phelan was given that introduction of Randy, which was just unbelievable, I turned to Matt and I said, Dan, you better be good. And then when Randy took out a prepared speech, which was outstanding, I quickly scribbled my speech on a piece of paper and said, Matt, you really owe me. So let me just say congratulations to Randy. That was truly a well-deserved It's particularly nice to hear those words when you're still vertical, right? And then, where's Chris Mellon? You had one of my favorite awards because you are the national president? Oh, president, okay. Well, soon, Dave makes me call him Mr. President, so now you outrank him, right? Or you still will? Awesome. And my favorite award of all was for Donna Keene, who I have the pleasure of sharing a table with tonight. And I mean this in all sincerity. What an incredibly special man your husband must have been, and I've heard from our mutual friend Steve Marcus that he was, to be honored after his passing. As I said to you earlier, most of us are forgotten 5 minutes after we leave the room, and for this honor is truly heartfelt, and I hope gives you some comfort. Randy was clearly deserving of the award, and you learned about all the incredible things that she did. And by the way, next year's Legislator of the Year is right here, and my friend Bruce Ayers, the representative from Queens. So I came here a little bit of a different path than Randy. I come from Milton, where couldn't afford Quincy, and I was a member of the Milton High Whiz Kid football team. You've probably heard of us, right? No? All right, so let me try something else. In junior high, I was a member of the 1976 Pierce Junior High undefeated Fighting Patriots. All right, you haven't heard of that. So here's what happened. When I was a senior, we had a game. We thought we were all that, right? So we had the first nighttime game in the history of Milton High School. It was out in Natick, and I'm so old, they had a wheel in the lights. This wasn't, Friday Night Lights in Texas. They had a wheel in the generators, and every single person I ever knew was there. And some were somewhat fortified by things that high school children should not have been fortifying themselves with. So it was a rambunctious crowd. And we were ahead. My God, we were gonna win. Glory, girls, everything, right? So, with about 3 minutes left in the game, this kid I'd never heard of he was a junior from Natick, he was a little short, name was Flutie, came in, and he kicked like a 31-yard or 33-yard field goal to put them ahead. That was a big deal back in those days. So Matt mentioned what a pain in the neck I am, basically, in getting things done in the State House. I was a nuisance then to my coach, and I'd say, Coach, throw it at me, I'll run a flag pattern, I'll get open. Coach, and I just bugged the hell out of him. And he did, and I did. They called my number. I went out, I did a flag pattern. And again, those who paying attention to the story, it was a night game, right? So I went out and I looked up, and all I could think was, my God, tell me touchdown this is gonna be it for the Milton High Whiz kids. Johnny Babinski, who got inducted to the Milton High Sports Hall of Fame last weekend, threw a perfect spiral. I looked up, all I saw were those lights. The ball came down, hit me squarely on the head. The ball hit the ground, and I said, Bruce, I think I'll try politics. And so my path is a little bit different from Randy's and somewhat less accomplished. But I will tell you that Matt mentioned how many housing bills are filed each year. We get really between 7,000 and 9,000 bills in total filed each year. So all of us have somewhat of a wide, breadth of knowledge, but sometimes not as deep a depth, just by necessity. Sometimes you have 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to consider something. And so when you have folks like you have at IREM, you're all, as members of this group, extraordinarily well represented. And so in addition to Warren, by the way, in addition to Mr. President, Kelly does an extraordinary job on your behalf, Kelly Hannon. And so what happens when the bills come before us, this year before I chair the bonding committee, we get a $1.4 billion housing bond bill. And it contains over $300 million in funding authorizations just for affordable housing over the next 5 years. And so to have people that have the subject matter expertise to advocate on your behalf, but also to educate folks like me that can't catch a damn football, it's very, very helpful to us and very, very helpful to you. So I'm honored to accept this award. Last story is about Matt Gaines. So I joined the State Senate in 1998. It turned out that Barack Obama joined the Illinois State Senate in 1997. And so shortly after his swearing in, and he was on Air Force One to, some exotic locale to meet heads of state. And I think I was driving to the Randolph VFW post to meet a couple of guys over Budweiser and discuss what was pissing them off that particular night. I called Matt and I explained to him, I said, my God, Axelrod put Obama in the White House. I'm heading to the Randolph VFW post. And Matt suggested that Axelrod had much better material to work with. So I concede that point, and I thank you very much for your work.